Hello and welcome to the FSF Podcast Live Edition.
Hey there, kids and cadets. You see this nice person on the screen next to me? That's Jessi. She's from the Crusher Convo podcast, and she has come here to crush the 5 at 5. That's right. She's going to rock it for us. We're going to talk with us a little bit today about Beverly Crusher and Star Trek: The Next Generation. So welcome to the back to the 5 at 5. Jessi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Excellent. So glad you're a guy that we didn't scare you away the first time that we had you on to do this, and you were willing to come back. We scared Michelle away, but I think that we'll work at trying to ease her, coax her back into the fold later. So
just mention Beverly Crusher. She'll be back. You'll be fine.
All right, cool. We'll just dangle it out like a carrot.
Exactly.
Come on. We're gonna talk about Beverly. It's gonna be great.
Talk about Beverly. Okay, I'll be back.
All right, so today in your 5 at 5, we're going to talk about the 5 storylines that you wish they would have done with Beverly Crusher on Star Trek: The Next Generation, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
All right, very good. Well, hey, no time like the present. Let's get into it. What's number 5?
All right, so number 5 is actually going to be about her childhood. As many people know, we know very little about Beverly's childhood. The only thing that we do know is that she was an orphan. Her parents died. We're not really sure at what age. We just know that she was young. She was raised by her grandmother and learned, herbs and things like that, and homeopathic remedies and stuff. And that's what kind of wanted her to become a doctor. She even suffered an event, like a cataclysmic event on a planet called Arvada 3, where it was such a tragedy, as Picard put it, that he was surprised that she and her grandmother survived. But we know nothing about Arvada 3. So we just wish that we know more about her childhood. I do remember one time she was talking to Data about Wesley feeling lonely and that she felt lonely. And so it was kind of a reference of maybe that Beverly didn't have a lot of friends, maybe was bullied. We're not really sure, but yeah, it would be really nice to know that, backside of her story about who is Beverly, right? So,
okay. Yeah, backstory is always fun. I think with any character that you're trying to get to know more about, getting to know their backstory, who they are, what they are, kind of what makes them tick is always a good thing. So, all right, so very cool. All right, number 4.
All right. Number 4 is what happened in season 2. As many know, Gates McFadden wasn't let go, and so she was not in season 2 of The Next Generation. And they just said that Beverly decided to become head of Starfleet Medical, and Dr. Pulaski had taken her place as CMO on the Enterprise. And then season 3, she's back. No reference to Pulaski. Everyone's just like, hey, she's back, and everything's hunky-dory on the Enterprise. But we kind of want to know what happened while she was at Starfleet Medical. What did she learn? What was she doing? Why did she decide to go back to CMO? It almost kind of seems like a demotion in a way.
Right.
You're leading a whole department at Starfleet, and then you decide to go back on the Enterprise. So very, very curious about what she went through during that year, apart from Wesley and just being on her own.
Okay.
Yeah.
That also, for me, by the way, you've been doing this whole slew of Pulaski memes on Twitter, and I actually had, because I hadn't got to that point yet, I was like, who the heck is Pulaski, and what's this? So I had to do the research, and that's how I found out about that. So yeah, that was kind of neat.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Absolutely.
Okay, it happened in Vegas, and it happened with Brent Spiner and Jonathan Frakes. What happened was I don't know if you could see it, but I have my poster, and it has Pulaski on the photo. I brought it to Brent, and he looked, and he's like, Pulaski. Gates should sign that part. And I was like, probably not. not going to ask her, Brent. No, thank you. And then he was asking questions like, I wonder if they met. And I'm like, I don't know. She's down. She's 2 tables over. You can ask her. And he's just being chill. I was like, okay. So he signs
Right.
it. I go to Jonathan. His reaction, however, was Pulaski. And so I told him what Brett said, and he was like, no, too soon.
Too soon.
It was like, too soon. Just don't mention. I was like, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, no, please.
No, thanks.
No,
I'm
thank
good.
you. It's like
I'm
the
good.
best memory I'm gonna have with those two.
That's fantastic.
Oh man.
Excellent. All right, fantastic. I think that'd be kind of fun to learn about because, well, again, that's something I'll be learning about as I continue my journey through Trekhood or Trekdom or
Trekland.
Trekkerness.
Trekland.
Trekland. We'll go through Trekland. All right. I'm going through Trekland, guys. Okay. All right, number 3. What's our number 3, Jessi?
All right, number 3 is going to be her life with Jack. You know, there's this man named Jack R. Crusher. Okay, we know he was a buddy of Picard. Had a son named Wesley. Tragically died that we still don't know how he passed. But he definitely left an impact when it came to Picard and Beverly's story, and especially even Wesley growing up without a father and stuff like that. So we just wish we knew more about Jack. And of course, as many know, in the far future of season 3 of Picard, we find out that Beverly and Picard, well, he didn't get a chance to, but Beverly named their son after her first husband, Jack. So we just wish we knew more about him and their story and how they met and found love and all that kind of stuff. We got very, very little snippets, but nothing enough for us to be like, oh, we know a lot about this character. So that would have been really, really nice. We didn't even get scenes with those two. So that was very disappointing, especially because he is a very, very important character to the stories.
Well, I remember in the first half of season 1, he's referenced him a couple times, especially in with her being on Picard's ship, and how could you serve with this man, and that kind of thing. So yeah, because somehow I forget how, but somehow Picard's involved or with his death, or
they've kind of referenced that it was his. I don't want to say his fault, but like he feels guilty over it. And yes, he was his captain, and I believe Jack was his first officer.
Okay.
And he died under his command. Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes sense. All right. So that was number 3. What's number 2?
All right. Number 2, mom moments. What you're going to notice, Tim, when you're doing your little Trekland journey here is that we got very, very little Wesley and Beverly moments together. They tend to, which a lot of shows did this, but they tend to have Wesley go to Picard or Riker or Data for advice. Didn't really bring Beverly into the fold, even though that was her son. She raised him alone this whole time. And as much as we think that those relationships are important, that he had those male role models in his life, we just wish we saw more of that relationship with her son. And even with season 3 of Picard, we got more. It was only 10 episodes, so unfortunately we didn't really get a lot of Jack and Beverly moments, but we did get a couple of moments that were just like, man, we really wish we had those deep conversations and stuff like that. So, Beverly is a lot to her, being a doctor and a scientist and everything, but more importantly, she is a mom. And so that would have been really nice to just see her having those emotional moments with her kids.
All right. Very cool. Yeah. Cause I can think of several times where I saw like Riker pull him aside and give, like the fatherly advice, and, and so far every interaction I've seen with him and Picard has been like, go away, child, you bother me.
Season 1 was not very good. It gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better.
But yeah, but mostly as far as father figure, I've seen him kind of look up to and go towards Commander Riker for all that kind of stuff. He hasn't really, I don't know if he ever goes to like Geordi for advice or anything, but I haven't seen that yet. But mostly it's been mostly with Riker, I think once or twice to Picard, but Picard was kind of quick quick to shoot them down, dismiss them, and like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
go away, kid, you bother me.
Yeah.
So
I don't like children. Get off my bridge.
yeah,
Yeah.
that exactly. Those words were uttered. I was like,
Yes.
oh, see, every time I heard that, people talk about that, I always thought they were joking. I'm like, oh, they were serious. Picard really didn't like kids. Okay.
There's a reason why Michelle said that Picard scared her as a child, because he was so mean to children.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. All right. Well, very good. So yeah. So number one, the big enchilada. What is your number one wish they would have done for Beverly's story?
Okay, so this is very recent, and it's because a lot happened in 20 years, guys, and we really want to know what happened in those 20 years. As many know, after Nemesis, Beverly left Starfleet and disappeared from everybody's life. And of course, because she had Jack and she was trying to protect him. But clearly, she went through a lot. You know, she had the Helios and she was helping far off planets that Starfleet forgot about. And she was taking care of people and she was a scientist. And we really want to know those stories. What did she teach Jack? Why was he a criminal? There's clearly a reason that he was a thief, but he did it for the greater good, and that is a very Beverly thing. She was always a do no harm character, obviously, because
Right.
she's a doctor. But you know, sometimes you have to play a little dirty in order to help people, and she was okay with that. So yeah, we just really want to know. We want the Helios adventures. We want to know what happened in London. We want, you know, those little references that they made in season 3 that were just like, where did she go? What did she do?
Sure.
Yeah, so everyone was mentioning that on Bev Crusher Day. They were just like, you know, we just kind of want to know what she's been doing, and there's a
Sure.
lot of stories you can get out of her from that. So yeah, that's the
Oh
big
yeah,
one.
I think it goes back to what we were talking about at point number 5.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's the things that make the person tick, the why they do what they do, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and in that 20 years, why did she do what she did? What was the reason for it? So
Right.
yeah, I think that's a really cool, there could be some really cool timeline stories there with her, you know,
Oh,
raising
absolutely.
Jack and doing all the things that you just referenced, you know, helping these far off forgotten planets and systems
Mhm.
and things like that. So yeah, I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, and, you know, and she was always a tough cookie, right? And you'll see that in TNG. She had some good tough cookie moments, but she was definitely a a tough cookie in season 3, and it's like, you know, what did she have to do? Just, like, know how to that rifle and just start,
Right?
right? I'm just saying, you know, I mean, Picard was very quick to be like, she would only do that defensively, right? But
Right?
it just we just wanna know more about her story, even the fact of her losing her parents, how did that impact her life into who she is today?
Sure.
So,
No, I get behind all 5 of those. I think those would all 5 of those would be fun
yeah.
avenues to travel down. And I'm always the one where if there's a character that you really love, you know, what makes that character better? More of that character.
More of that
So, you know,
character.
absolutely. Like, you know, so I get it. All right. So, hey, Jessi, remind everybody where people can find your awesomeness over at Crusher Convo and Michelle's awesomeness too, even though she's scared to come back. We'll have you back. We'll talk about Beverly, I promise.
We'll talk about
So-
Beverly. Yeah, she'll be back. Trust me. No, yeah, like I said, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube for sure. You can kind of see us on Threads and Blue Sky, but I'm not very good at that. But I'm trying. I'm trying very hard. But at Crusher Convo, and yeah, we're coming near an end of our season 1, so it's been a great year, and I appreciate all the crushies who've been listening. Appreciate people like you and, you know, Open Pike and It's Got Star
yeah.
Trek and everybody, and it's been great. We really appreciate the support.
Well, it's easy to support a good show. So, and good people
Thank you
in
so
the show.
much.
So, no,
That means a
honestly,
lot.
yeah, honestly, I wouldn't have you on here if I didn't think you guys had a good show and you guys had good content and most of all if you weren't good people. So yeah, so I'm always excited and happy to have you guys back. Michelle too.
Michelle
And
too.
so all right, very cool. Well, Jessi, thank you for coming on, sharing your top 5 moments. Now, as a reminder, guys, there are links down below for you guys to be able to check out Crusher Convo. Go check them out. Give them a subscription. Listen to their show. Follow them on all your socials. Trust me, it's not just Trek Talk. It's mostly Trek Talk. And there's a lot of cool memes. And if you understand who Pulaski is, then you're going to get like 95% of them. It's going to be a good time. So
okay, that's really just for unplanned Trek. Okay, someone likes Pulaski, and we got to table that down.
It took me a little while to figure that out, what was going on, but I slowly I got there.
Slowly, but it's fine. It's fine.
Exactly.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, on behalf of Kathleen and Ben, my intrepid co-hosts who are unable to be here tonight, just want to say thank you. And hey, if you haven't already, go check us out on patreon.com/FSF Podcast. There's so much cool stuff on there. Like legitimately some really cool stuff. Anyway, but yeah, check us out there. Go check out Crusher Convo. Goodbye.
Bye.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF Podcast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF Podcast, or go to www.fsfpodcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.
All right, and we'll click
Yay.
end recording.